Okay, welcome to Cloud Robotics Working Group. We are having another tryout this week. It's going to be on Transitive Robotics. As Christian here is the founder, creator of Transitive, and I've already installed Transitive. Instead of either of us taking part in the tryout, we're going to hand it over to Phil and maybe Giovanni if something goes wrong. So with that, I'll try and stay out of things and let Christian answer questions if there are any.
There will be. Hi guys, Phil Larone. So I prepared a little bit for this to give you some setup for my system layout. Right now I have a Turtlebot 2 at home. I'm in the office. So normally the layouts like this, I have ROS running in a container on the Turtlebot. I have ROS running on my developer laptop, and they communicate. It's great. Everything's containerized so that I don't have any native ROS installed on either the robot or laptop devices. That works great when they're both on the same network, which is not the case now. So we will go and try and figure out how to use Transitive to maybe see what the robot's seeing, maybe even drive it around. I'd love to be able to do those things. What have I done in preparation in addition to making sure the robot still runs? I've enabled an SSH connection to the robot and a local server I have in case we need to set that up. So I can do that from here in the office. I've read the instructions on the Transitive Robotics webpage, and that's where we're going to start. And I've prepared some environment variables so that I can mask a little bit IP addresses when I type them in and SSH, just to make it look a little nicer and a little more intelligible for everyone else. And then we'll switch over. So I read this page, this Transitive Robotics page on GitHub, and it says I need to use Docker, and that's fine. I don't have Docker Compose necessarily installed, and I was thinking, should I do this to prepare? But the question was, is this the right thing to prepare, or should I be installing something else on my robot? So Christian, that's kind of the first thing. There's a container here, and what am I doing with it?
You opened the developer instructions. You want to go to transitiverobotics.com.
Okay.
And well, we didn't discuss it ahead of time. There's two ways that you can use Transitive, at least two ways. One is as a user, and one is as a developer. And you just Transitive Robotics, and then go to the documentation. I would always suggest to start with the sort of the user perspective, so following the getting started guide there, and only once you use that, then see whether it's, again, our analogy is like Android, right? So it's easier to try Android on your phone before you start developing your own apps.
Sure, that's fine. This was also where I stopped trying to do any more. So reading through this, it looks like I'm supposed to register for an account first before I do anything else. Okay. Let's see. All right. Okay, so I have an account. I'm going to get an email about it to verify my email. Okay. Go back, and there's my email. Hey, it works. Okay. All right, so execute this command to install your device. And that I'm going to do on the robot, I believe.
Yep.
Okay. So logging into my robot. And I'm going to just paste in the root of the robot. Oh, look, I don't even have curl installed locally. My robot is not sudoer, so you guys enjoying watching me install packages? It's very exciting.
It's normally me. It's normally me
doing
screen
great.
sharing, so this is quite fun for me.
You had the and is not stronger binding than the sudo, so you need to put the put a sudo, yeah, put another sudo after the and, or
just do them one at a time.
Or do one at a time.
Yeah. You can also tell my muscle memory is for installing packages is usually when I'm root in a container and I stop worrying about sudo altogether. All right. And this root operating system here is 2204, just for reference. I've upgraded my other systems to 2404. Okay.
There are some instructions that you may have skipped over on some dependencies. I think in the getting started guide.
Okay. Let's find out. So I registered for an account and I followed the instructions there, but it looks like I need to go here.
Okay, now it looks like we missed that. We need to add that. Two ways. You can either click on using Docker on the left, where we definitely show the dependencies that you need, or yeah, it's right there, the apt install command, build essential, curl, git. You can just take that entire line. But this is a good point. I need to add that to the instructions.
Okay. And I also recognize while I was doing that, I should not be doing this as my main user. Or do I need sudo for any of the transitive stuff? Can I do it as my robot account?
No, you don't need sudo.
So
that was actually a design decision that we made very early on. We didn't want users to need to do anything with sudo. So even the sandboxing on the robot doesn't use Docker for that reason, because Docker typically requires sudo or something akin to sudo. And so we built our own sandbox that doesn't require sudo.
Okay, let's try this again. Well, I appreciate that. I try and give my robot as little permissions as possible. So
most users run in Docker nowadays anyways. And there were two instructions, one for native, which is what we're running now. There was also a Docker instruction right below that. But either is fine. Both have their benefits. Oh, there you go.
All right, so this is here. This is great. This is the robot host computer. This is not the ROS information or the robot information. So we know nothing about the robot right now. It's just a computer, right? Okay. All right. So next, if I were to go back to the getting started guide, installing the agent, we did a bunch of that. Oops, sorry, I'm scrolling too fast. Configure ROS version, embedding a widget. So I guess the next step is to then come back over to the portal and add some capabilities.
Yep. There's a warning, though, that we probably will have to attend to, but you can try. If it doesn't work installing, then that issue is something we need to pay attention to.
Okay. And let's see.
I would actually recommend we start with the terminal, because it will give you another way to get into the robot if it doesn't work. But yeah, we'll see. That error on top, I think, is not something that we can typically ignore, but we can try it out.
Overlay file system not supported. Is that because I'm not doing this with a ROS install, or is that completely separate?
So the overlay file system, from what I understand, is how it performs as a sandboxed user without needing sudo permissions. Okay. So it's nothing to do with ROS. It's about being able to run files as the user without polluting the environment.
Okay. And how? Okay, please see troubleshooting. Troubleshooting, encrypted home folder. I don't think it's encrypted. I don't remember encrypting the file system on this one.
You may want to run that test to verify.
But I will run the test, yeah. I mean, I could have done it. So
good.
It returns anything. Okay. So that's not true.
It might be a false positive. I'm a little surprised right now, but let's
just.
This
is why it's fun to test, because you find edge cases.
Fun for you, nerve-wracking for me.
Is eCryptFS correct?
It may have changed.
I just sounds weird. For surely you would call it encryptFS for encrypted file system.
Well, I should find it anyway, right?
Yeah, it should. You're right. You're right.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it didn't encrypt it, because you have to have a keyboard to unencrypt anytime it starts up, and that is a really bad idea on a robot where you don't have a display.
Good point.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that's why I did it, because I didn't want to have to plug in every time I turned it on.
Well, I guess some encryptions use these, what are they called, TPMs, where there's sort of a hardware device key on the thing, and then you can only encrypt it on that actual device. But yeah, no, definitely a valid comment.
Okay. So if I type in overlay and I search, there's only 2 places there for overlay. And one's Jetson Nano, and this is not a Nano. This is, it properly reports as AMD 64, Ubuntu 2404, and the address given by the IP address. So that part's all fine.
So I can't quite tell whether the terminal installed or not. It says stopped, but I don't remember you stopping it.
No, I did not.
Can you click on the dots menu behind?
Yes.
Get log or start. Yeah, that's fine too.
Get log. Okay. Sandbox.
Oh.
Transitive unshared.sh. It's not installed somehow.
Do you need sudo to set up the mount?
No. That's part of the sandboxing trick that we do, because we do we go basically into a container using unshare -r. In that container we have sudo And then locally we can do what's necessary.
Yeah, it looks like there's mount issue.
Yeah, there's something funky. Can we maybe that test command for that encryption was not quite right. Can we go to the terminal?
Sure.
And just do the whole grab the mount and grab home. Oh, that's not good. Just do the mount then. Okay. And then
nothing in home. Interesting. Right?
Are we installed on a different user?
Let's see.
No, I made sure I installed it on this user. So there's a bunch of stuff there from ZFS. That's the rpool.
What is rpool? That because your home directory is, and if you run that command and just grab for home, I think you will spot it. I think I just saw it. Actual home, not the variable. There. What is that?
So that's a ZFS file system. And so it when you do it by default in Ubuntu, it separates it out as a separate way of cataloging that home directories. So you can snapshot just say your home directories part of ZFS.
So I suspect that this is interesting. We haven't seen this before yet, but I suspect that ZFS does not support overlays.
It might not.
The way that I don't know. Maybe Guy actually knows this. Guillaume. You don't. Do you have any normal file system anywhere on your machine?
No, but I can run it in a container. If we want to go back.
Yeah, maybe we'll just do that. This is different. This is when you want to build your own Docker container. I suggest that you go back to your devices page and run the second command that was suggested there.
Devices page.
On the left.
Yes.
And then at the bottom where it says add devices.
Add devices. Wait, come back here. Now this one is Tryout. My robot has been running Jazzy. ROS1 versus ROS2 there. Do you have a Jazzy release? Should I have pulled that image?
Yeah, actually Control-C this. You should replace the noetic with, I think you're running Humble, is that right?
I can run Humble. I'm running Jazzy.
Jazzy on 22?
It's in the container.
Oh, I see. Yeah, run Jazzy. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can pull any of them. What did I do wrong?
You added some.
I think that's an SSH synchronization thing. The cursor you edited is different from what the robot received.
Yes.
Yeah, it has to do with these long lines when they wrap. Sometimes the offset is wrong.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So running ROS in a container allows for that, Jazzy, noetic, and not having to worry about which underlying operating system version I have. Also is great for being able to keep that underlying operating system fairly locked down security-wise and being able to try the different ones. We'll see how it all plays together. We will be running the two containers side by side, I presume, and then they'll have to communicate, but that does work when I run it, with my container in my dev computer. But I suspect I'll need another terminal connection here. So I'll prepare that to launch the robot.
I see.
Yeah.
Maybe you can also do it through the terminal capability, but we can try.
Yeah, okay. All right, so I'm running the container. It looks like it's still booting up. I should go over to my website, and now I've got 2 robots. Excellent. Kind of the same, but that's all right. One's not working, one is. And am I ready to move on to the next piece? So we try robot 1, and we want to install terminal. It says stopped. Oh no, it says installing. That's why. Okay.
While we're waiting, I'm curious, that new terminal tab you opened, it had some find errors with the .transitive. I'm wondering if that gives any insight into what went wrong with the normal installation.
I think it's that the transitive folder is not getting mounted the way that Christian is used to, and it could be that a ZFS mount style is not available. For this, I would probably prefer to run it as a container anyway, side by side. That just feels better. I can go, I see there's some uninstall instructions, and I'll try those as well and clean up the home directory here. Yeah. And this is the one that's currently running, and it's still installing, yes? This looks like it should be installing GStreamer and other things like that. Oh yes, here's all the packages it's going to be installing. And it seems I should have set up an local apt mirror for this demo. Would have been a little faster.
That's not actually what takes a long time. It's some of the other dependencies that are happening behind the scenes.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, Jazzy. Okay. While we wait, should I bring up my Jazzy container? Would that be useful, or is that something we should do from Transitive?
It depends on what you want to try after the terminal. I'm assuming you wanted to do something with video. You don't need ROS for that. You could start with a webcam. If after that we want to try it with a ROS topic, then we can bring up the container at that point.
Okay, webcam. It's an Intel RealSense. I think you can operate that as a webcam, but I don't usually do that. So let's go ahead and see how that works. Okay, I have a terminal on my robot. Let's see. Okay, and I have the laser scanner and the robot base. This is pretty fun. It's always exciting when you're like, hey, I'm in my robot from somewhere else. All right, so that should launch the robot, all that stuff. So if we come over here to our terminal, I should be able to do a ROS2 topic list. I would hope. Hey, look at that. Okay, and we are seeing scans. Pretty exciting, Christian.
Well,
I can verify my robot is alive. This is good.
Well, the nice thing about the terminal is you could, in theory, shut down your VPN, like your VPN and SSH servers now. This always gives you a second way in. It's funny, but many times when you fly a technician out to see a robot, it's simply because the VPN broke down and you have no way of getting back in. And so it's real good practice to always have redundancy, maybe even triple redundancy to get back into your robot. I think with this having worked, I would try out some of the other capabilities now, maybe video streaming or Tryout.
Yes, but I will add, in our situation, if I close those terminal windows, since I did not start the Docker containers on their own, it will all stop. But I would set it up to have it run automatically in the future. Sounds like you guys want to see video. Can we do a map? Is there a map we can do? I'd rather do a map first.
Sure.
Okay. Because then it's easy. It's better to. So right now the robot is facing a wall. The video is a white wall with no texture. So it's less exciting than seeing the laser scan just now.
Are the motors turned on?
It should. We should be able to drive it away, and then we can turn the video on. Yeah.
Now the maps capability only displays a map. It doesn't create one, if that's what you're thinking.
No, the robot has the map inside, right? So
Oh.
I should be able to.
You are publishing a map somewhere?
I should be publishing the map, yes. We'll find out. We have a question. From Transitive Robotics, access the ROS2 data of the robot from a laptop. I think so. I think that's what we were doing in the terminal. That was dev computer, transitive portal, talking to the robot at my house offsite.
I think for Guillaume, what you might be after, it's better to use the ROS tool capability. The terminal is, as if you were running an SSH. So yes, you see the topics, but you can't do much with it. The ROS tool capability is like a React SDK for ROS. So you are accessing it from the web, but sort of speaking ROS, meaning you're participating in the pub/sub and system service calls.
Okay, thank you.
No map topics. Should be there.
Yeah, so I maybe install the ROS tool because Guillaume is interested in that, and also it will help us debug the map not being there.
Well, I guess that actual map of where the robot's located, while that is, hey, did I click the wrong thing? ROS tool, add, yes, it did. So while this is adding, my developer laptop is currently about 50 kilometers away from my robot. So not same network and not that close physically.
Yeah, but the map discovery is separate from sending it over. Like it should.
Oh, I know. It's more of just the layout of our demo right now, is that there is some distance. We're not faking things where it's going out of my router to my ISP and then back in. It actually has to go somewhere. All right. Yeah, so Christian, if I look at this, I see there is at least some cost map being published, so I know the map's working. This is telling me it's installing stuff still, okay? I'm really liking this 2 containers side by side. This feels like the right way to configure this. Separate my robot logic from my monitoring logic.
I just wish that DDS was more reliable in discovery. I think cross-container discovery is supposed to work, and it works most of the time, but I don't yet have the confidence to say that it works all of the time. So we'll see. Rostful seems to be ready now. If you click on it, we should be able to see all of the topics.
Okay, yes. A lot of topics. Camera, command val. Okay, so in order to get a map, I need to subscribe to one of these. Is that?
Well, first we need to find the map topic. Oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah, and that's being published. Then it's interesting why the maps capability wouldn't have found it.
Yeah, and let's also do scan.
This is just in the ROS tool though, right? Like the maps capability does all of that by itself. But this is a good debug tool. So this says that yes, there are topics on the robot, and yes, we are seeing data coming through. So these same topics should be available to all of the other capabilities as well.
Right. So the next step would be to go back to map, or is there a way from ROS tool to see the map?
No, this is just this is really, think of it as the ROS CLI. It's really just so you can echo and list and all of that. You could also publish and call services, but that's not what we're trying to do right now. We're just using this for debugging, and we found what we needed, which is there is a map. So maybe we can go back to the maps capability and see. Maybe it has shown up by now. I don't know why it wasn't before.
I see there's a question about shared memory.
Yes, if you're using 2 containers, since they're on the same localhost, shared memory with FastDDS is enabled by default. So they try to access their shared memory, but since they're in containers, they won't access their shared memory, each other's shared memory. So you can see the topics, but you cannot echo them. This is really the symptom of 2 containers and shared memory mess.
Can you click on the show capability log in the top right?
Sorry, in maps or
yeah. Because we did see the echo of the maps topic in the ROS tool. So the question is, why is it not working in maps? Oh, it's just maybe we. No.
But you saw it. No, you saw it from the terminal, right? So it's the terminal in the container.
We saw it both in the terminal and in ROS tool, and ROS tool behaves just like maps. So maybe we can just restart the maps capability. If you go back out to the robot one, and then from the dots menu, you can restart maps.
Yeah, I am pretty confident that it should be able to see the topic. We were streaming scan data from the laser scanner, and if you can do that, you'd be able to get the maps topic. Yeah, it's a really boring map right now because the robot hasn't moved, but it still would be great to see it.
Yeah, this is a good question. I don't know why it's not showing up there, to be honest. I would have to take a closer look. Very strange. Okay. Maybe we can try the I can try to take another look at the logs. Maybe we can try the video.
Sure.
Or teleop. Maybe do teleop, which includes video.
Teleop includes video. Hey, good to know. Yes, happy to try that. Okay. Installing some more items. The robot. The robot has, this is from when we were using ROS tool, Christian, requesting incompatible QoS. I don't know if that's my misconfiguration or what.
No, this is actually, so there's this is getting pretty deep into ROS, but ROS 2, unlike ROS 1, requires the subscriber to know whether the publisher supports retained messages or not, ledged messages. In ROS 1, you could subscribe, and if there were ledged messages, you would get them. And if there were no ledged messages, you would not get them. In ROS 2, as the subscriber, you have to know whether or not ledging is enabled or not, and then use a different QoS to subscribe. And this is really annoying when you are not in control of the subscriber and the publisher like we are here. So what we do instead is we create two subscribers, one with each QoS, and then one of them is going to arrow out and the other one is going to work. It's really annoying, but hey, I'm not the first to tell you that there's some idiosyncrasies with ROS 2. So go Xeno.
Yeah, that makes sense. And so you expect to see an error message there because one of them is going to fail.
And that it's just a warning, but yeah, we do expect to see that. That's right.
Right. Okay. Last topic. Is that my video? Hey, yes, that is my video.
That is
my wall. All right, now I need to come down and do the configuration. Command velocity. I have no gamepad, but I think I just click backwards here. It's a good thing I cleaned up the room where this is in a little bit. Oh, look, it's moving. Oh, it's upside down. Oh, yeah, because I haven't configured my URDF properly. The camera's mounted upside down. So
you could, just for our own health here, actually just flip it upside down in CSS if you want to. I don't know how much you know about web development, but if you right-click on that video and say, oh, this is Firefox, right?
It's Vivaldi, but...
Okay, do inspect.
It's a Chrome derivative.
Okay, cool. And then the styles are still loading. And then click into that element style on the right bottom, that right bottom section.
Element styles.
Yeah, just click anywhere there in that first category.
Oh, element style, yes.
Yeah. And type transform. Yeah, tab complete. And then rotate. Yeah. And now you can exchange those really elegant 45 degrees by 180. Now we have it right set up.
Okay.
The clock is upside down, but hey, at least for our demo, we'll be able to see what we want to see.
Yes. And my URDF still needs to get fixed. And the joystick is a little bit backwards now, but that's okay. Or maybe it's not. So there's my robot in the room. I'm driving it from a long ways away. This is pretty exciting. I know you guys are so thrilled watching this video of my home office. But that's where we came from, that little red light. Okay, so we should have enough now that we've actually made a map. And I can probably drive this and get close to docking again if I cared. Video using WebRTC. Yeah, Christian, this is going to be a question for you. ROS to camera topic or the camera hardware? I set this up using the ROS topic.
That's right. Yeah, so you use the ROS topic. If you click on that first drop down, it may show a video for Linux. There you would see all of the webcams. But I suspect if you chose them, they wouldn't work because they're probably currently being used by that RealSense driver. So to answer Sachin's question right now, it's using the ROS topic. Yeah.
Got it. All right. Very cool. All right. Now, if I go back and try and do the map again, I really want the map to work because I feel like that's the, like, hey, look, we got this. Yeah, no, there seems to be a bug in the maps department. Is there any other way we can show the robot map, Christian?
Not that I can think of right now.
Okay. Is Foxglove able to show maps?
Foxglove could show maps. You could try the Foxglove capability. Yeah, it's not a bad idea.
The other fun part about running in containers, you just click yes to everything because it's temporary.
Yeah.
Any other questions for either Christian or my robot setup while you're sitting there waiting for this to install?
I have a question just because I did something weird, Christian. I'm running it on 2 small robots, but
oh no.
Maybe that's the problem.
The robots were using a cloned SD card, and
same ID.
And the other one tells me, yeah, I'm installed, but I don't see it in the dashboard, and I don't know if it's because of that.
Yeah, there's a note in the documentation about that. We do use I think it's Etsy machine ID, which is UUID generated by systemd on first start. But if it's already there, it's not overwritten, which is exactly why you shouldn't clone it. So if you do want to clone it, you need to make sure that device ID is not part of the cloned image.
Yeah.
It's easy to fix. You can just delete it and restart, and it should.
Okay, so just delete that file. All right.
Actually, after that, you probably need to install, delete the agent too, because the transitive device ID is generated on first boot.
Okay, how do I delete the agent then? And then I will retry.
I would recommend, depending on how you installed it, did you do the curl command or Docker?
Curl. Yeah.
Curl. Then use the uninstall command in .transitive/bin, I believe it is.
Got it. And then I delete that etc file and reboot. Okay.
And then you reboot and run the curl command again. Yeah.
Perfect. Thanks.
There's no log ingest yet. We're working on something. We do log ingest for errors from the transitive capabilities themselves. So you can inspect all of those, but not third-party logs yet. And that's probably what you're asking about, like third-party logs, your own logs, right? Sachin?
Yeah, thanks.
Okay. Still waiting for Foxglove.
For some reason, your robot shows up as offline. Is it okay?
I don't know. Maybe not. Without tearing it down. It could have powered off too. The battery running the computer is not very big, but it used to be longer than that. let's find out. It may have died, which would be a sad ending to our demo, but it would not be surprising if it really was running the nuke at 50% capacity. Yeah, looks like the robot ran out of juice.
That's what you get for autonomously being able to, or remotely being able to drive a robot off the dock.
Yes,
it's the desert and it of thirst.
And that yes, the power bank is 10 years old or something like that. So I'm sure it's not long lasting. Okay, so that's not going to work because it died, and that's this indicator right here.
Yeah, that's
the
right.
red dot. Okay, so I don't know. There's more I can show since my robot just died. Anyone else wants to catch up or take over or try and get their map running? I'll give you some quick thoughts. It was helpful being told where to start, and maybe that's my fault for looking at a GitHub page first, but my default for software seems to be, hey, I read the GitHub README before I figure out where else to go. And it definitely helped having you, Christian, tell me what to do. I'll have to go back and look at the documentation to follow up on that. And I should have said, let's run it in container before trying to install locally. But again, that's my mindset, is container first.
Yeah, thank you. This is all helpful. I took some notes. Overlays don't work on ZFS, it seems. I'll need to follow up on that. I want to figure out why the maps were not showing up. We'll need to change the instructions on how to get started. I'm almost inclined to remove the native instructions because honestly, nowadays everybody runs in Docker, especially in production. So it seems like there can be confusion when you're trying to do it natively at first. Yeah.
Now, if I had a setup where my ROS installation was native and I run transitive in a Docker container, that's still okay. That still works.
I think in ROS 2 that works automatically. In ROS 1, it's all about, it's a very common pitfall to do the networking setup in ROS 1 correctly. And that has something to do with the way that ROS nodes announce themselves to the master. They need to know their own name, how other people will see them, right? And that's what they need to say as ROS host name. And if they use something that, for instance, the container cannot resolve, then it won't work, and vice versa, right? So in ROS 1, there's some pitfalls. In ROS 2, in theory, it should just work. But then again, that's the theory that doesn't always pan out.
Yeah. And I asked because I can see most one-off developers doing everything locally first. It's not till after you have to support more than one robot do you start seeing the value of a container.
Yeah, I think that's right. Fortunately, you don't need ROS to get started with Transitive. There's a lot of things that you can do. I think the main thing is to see that it works, like it does something, right? Like you get some sort of end-to-end capability running, because at that point you have enough context to realize why certain things may not work, or you may have more patience to read the documentation for a capability to figure out how to connect it to ROS and so forth.
Yeah. Well, one last thing before I close my screen. I was very excited to be able to drive my robot and see a video from the web. That is very nice to have, and not easy to set up if I were to do it myself. Like trying to figure out how to get an SSH tunnel so RViz could work on my developer laptop would not be fun.
Thanks.
All right, I'm going to stop sharing unless anyone has any other questions that from what we saw.
I had one actually. So the robot battery suddenly died. Is there any way that we can use our detective skills to figure that out from what's available in Transitive's portal?
Unfortunately, we weren't fast enough to install the health monitoring capability. Otherwise, yes. In fact, Maybe I can actually take over the screen real quick myself and show you something new that we've built recently.
Yes.
You okay with that?
Also, yeah, and on my particular robot, you also would have to have the battery connected to the Intel NUC so it knew its capacity, which does not exist right now. So the robot had no idea it had a battery, sadly.
So if we had, this is my robot in my garage, and it's attached to a wire, so it doesn't die. Here we've installed all of the capability. The health monitoring one has a new feature where we're now actually storing. Health monitoring is really just Rust diagnostics, which most of you are familiar with, aggregated to the cloud, so you can see it per robot. You can dive in and see the values. But you can also see like an aggregate view for all of your fleet. My fleet is boring; it has just one robot. And of course, this is there it is. So we've added recently to health monitoring a historic ingestion of all of the diagnostics values. Diagnostics, as you know, is just the current state, right? But what happens often in deployments is that there's intermittent failures, and those are often the ones hardest to find. And so we've added history to this. So all of the health data is now stored in ClickHouse, which is now part of the open source Transitive stack. And just this weekend, we've also added a feature where you can click on these charts, and then you actually pull it up in Grafana. Which is nice for doing historic analysis, right? Because if we had that running, and if your robot had been publishing the battery, and it had been picked up by health monitoring, then we would have been able to see the battery drop. Yes, exactly.
So we've got 5 minutes left. I see Guillaume's just raised his hand, so I think we'll let that go first. But my question for after that was, how did you get on, Giovanni, at the same time? But before answering that, we'll go to Guillaume.
Yes, sorry. I just wanted to know if it's possible to write your own capabilities. Right now, there's kind of a store but can a user write his own?
Yeah, exactly. And that's sort of what Phil was on track to do first. And it's, I would call it level 2. You should first see it work with existing ones. I mean, depending on appetite of the group here, we could do a second deep dive into Transitive, which is then the developer perspective, where we actually do install Transitive locally, the open source, and write our own capability, which is where the real fun starts. But it's not, it's not super easy. At first, you need to understand a little bit of what's going on. But that's only once you start doing that, do you actually understand some of the design principles, and the idea of data sync using MQTT sync, the concept of full stack packages where you have robot, cloud, and web all in one package. And yeah, I think it would be fun to do that together. And that's exactly right. Right now, the setup is really like Android, so we have an app store, so to speak. But for now, all of the capabilities that we have in the store are written by us. But we're now engaging with some third parties who've expressed interest in developing capabilities. There's one person working on anomaly detection. There are some people working on semantic mapping. Others are working on back ingest. So yeah, I hope there's going to be more news around third-party development in the next 6 months or so.
You were mentioning since you run things in 3 different places, the browser, the cloud, and the robot, you're using a consistent stack, right? So it's all JavaScript or TypeScript, or what are you using?
Yeah. It's the SDK is currently only available in JavaScript. You could, in theory, write your robot capability in whatever. All of the capabilities are actually NPM packages, and NPM packages are very nice because they can carry any payload. You could have, native Rust code in there, C++, Python, whatever you want. But the SDK, the one that allows you to talk MQTT sync across all of these 3 layers, is currently only available in JavaScript.
Yeah, I mean, to answer Michael's questions, I use curl, it installed, no problems. The only thing I had, I got a warning at the beginning, but which was already caught by Chris's thing, was saying unshare not supported, please add kernel aparm or restrict unprivileged user n to etc/ctl-conf. I did that, and then I was able to install the capabilities. And I'm glad I didn't drive this, because the board on the Turtlebot tree is really weak for Raspberry Pi. So for installing the capabilities, it takes a lot of time, because it's a very, very weak board. But everything is working. I can see the health monitoring, and now it's installing the ROS tools, but it's taking its time.
We have 1 minute to go, so I think the idea of making a custom capability is a good one. So let's use that for next session. Otherwise, we maybe have time for session's question, but that'll have to be the last question.
Thanks, everyone. I have one question regarding MQTT. So, like, I was quite interested to know how exactly are you using the MQTT for the communication between the ROS and the browser. Can you please like tell more about it?
Yeah, so that's a longer answer. I hope I won't get cut off too quickly. But
might get cut off.
we implemented a data synchronization on top of MQTT. So MQTT is a topic-based pub sub. And then on top of that, we've implemented a protocol where we're just synchronizing basically 2 big JSON objects across all 3 participants, robot, cloud, and web. But because it is topic-based, you can selectively subscribe and publish subparts of that large JSON object. And the browser uses browsers can connect to MQTT over a WebSocket, which is what our MQTT